Right, there's always a reason. I'm going to start this now. There is always a reason why people do what they do. Always a reason. And when we start thinking about that, and this, the whole idea of tonight and me talking to you about this tonight is, one, to challenge you, two, to probe you, like poke you with a virtual stick and go, have you thought about this? And three, to get you to be able to identify and acknowledge where you're at so that change could happen. So I'm going to try my best to go with this, right? So just try and follow me the best you can. So whilst we acknowledge there's always a reason, when we ascertain the reasons why we do what we do, we can then identify that there's a pattern, a behavioural pattern, why you do what you do. And when you identify the pattern, and you know why you're doing what you're doing, and you're closer to who you are, because you get who you are. A lot of women go through their life and don't know who they are. They respond in different ways and think, oh, I'm procrastinating again. Why am I doing that? Why am I self-sabotaging? Why do I fall on my arse every time I try something new? I'm back to square one. Well, these are all the reasons why. And when you get closer to you and knowing you, the faster you can get about the job of changing it. But it takes work, and it takes going in deep and going, do you know what? If that Shelley Booth could do all that and change that and change that and change that, then so can I. And you're absolutely right. You can do it as well. So identifying the pattern of behaviour, it can either be positive, neutral or negative. It could be empowering, neutral or disempowering. And surely to God, you want everything that you do to be empowering. You want it to be positive. However, that's not always the case. And sometimes you do things that are the complete opposite of empowering. You disempower yourself. You go at things the complete wrong way. Might even be negative. So when you realise that, you can then interrupt the pattern and you can go, oh, wait a minute, I've done this before and I know me now and I know what my values are and my beliefs are and I know why I do what I do. And Shelley Booth told me there are 6 basic human needs, is what I'm telling you tonight. There are 6 basic human needs across cultures, across time zones, across countries. Everybody needs these 6 things, their needs. We've all got goals and dreams and hopes and aspirations. That's different. One of the needs that we need to fulfill is certainty. You need to write this down. We need to be certain. Because certainty is a survival need. And if we're not certain, it compromises our survival. And one of the things I've touched on before is we need to be certain that we're working away from pain and working towards pleasure. Your body will do everything it can, your mind will do everything it can to keep you moving towards pleasure and away from pain. However, here's the problem. Pain is different from me than it is to you. And definitely so is pleasure. You might think it's pleasurable to sit on your arse and eat, yum-yums. Or apple turnovers. I might think it's pleasurable to sit and eat a plate of kale. Crispy kale, right enough. Bit of garlic salt, sea salt, bit of chili oil. You'll think that pain is one thing and I'll think it's another. You'll think pleasure is one thing and I'll think it's another. And we know that. And that's really, really important because sometimes you associate pain or pleasure for short-term release. You might just nip to the shops and get yourself 20 Regal King size and sit on the couch and smoke to your heart's content. And that's pleasure. It's short-term gain, but it creates long-term pain. For me, that's awful. Like, I couldn't even think about that. Like, I've watched my mum smoke since I can remember. It's ghastly for me. It's definitely not my pleasure. Do you see where I'm going with that? Right, so let's park that for now because that's something a wee bit different. But you need to identify what you associate pain and pleasure with. And is it positive or empowering? Is it neutral? Is it not going to change much? Or is it negative and disempowering? And if it's positive, fantastic, keep doing it. And if it's negative and disempowering, stop. We need to interrupt that pattern. So we've all got these 6 basic needs. Why do people behave differently then? We've all got the same, regardless of culture. And the first one is, I'm going to talk about, is certainty. So we all need certainty. So why do people behave differently? People behave differently because they value those needs in a different order. So certainty, when I go through them all this week, I'm only going to cover certainty tonight. But when we go through them all, you're going to number them all from 1 to 6. And certainty might be your top one. But somebody else's certainty might be number 6. And we value them differently. That's why people act differently. And then attached to that also is we value them differently. However, we realise their needs. But our belief system might think that, okay, to have certainty in my life, I need to be in that relationship and I need to stay with him or her. Because if I am not with him or her, then that's going to compromise my certainty. And if that's high on my values list and being certain is really, really important to me, then change is going to rock the boat for me. And I would rather stay where I am. It's shit, it's horrible, he treats me terrible. However, I'm staying here because I'm certain I'm going to be with somebody. And I need to be with somebody. So that's something else. How many of you have stayed in a relationship far too long? Me. I'm sure you're the same at some point. And you know you're not happy. But that need for certainty, to know that you've got somebody, to know that you can go to bed with somebody and cuddle up to somebody, regardless of the fact that you're not happy, you're not being treated how you deserve to be treated, you're not valued, all of these things, but you still stay. And you stay because certainty is really important. And it is, because it's a human need for everybody. One important consideration is people, and you might even be the same, people will give up on their hopes and dreams and aspirations and life goals to maintain that human need of certainty. That's scary, eh? You'll give up on everything to make sure something's certain. How many people have felt that before? Because I certainly have. And when I started doing all this work, I thought, whoa, right, wait, stop the boat. I get it. I get why there's a pattern of behaviour here and the same things keep showing up, the undesirable things keep showing up in my life. Right, and I got closer to me and I started to unravel things and I started to do this daily work to get me closer to who I was, my values and beliefs. I interrupted the patterns that were taking me down a route that kept going down, but I didn't want to. Wow, do you keep getting fat? You're skinny, then you're fat again. You're skinny, then you're fat again. You start doing something new, you love it at the start, 4 weeks in, you've bombed it. You were walking every day, 10,000 steps, going for it, yes, brilliant. My meal prep's done. Fantastic, I love my meals. I love that Shelley booth. See that Feel Look Bee's amazing, I should have found it years ago. 4 weeks later, done. Sound familiar? I'm sure it does. Most people meet their needs in a way that works in the moment and not long term. Most people do what keeps them certain in the moment, but not long term. So easy to do things short term. However, some people do short term bad stuff. Smoking, drinking, drugs, sex, whatever, just to fulfill that certainty in the moment. I'm stressed, I need that fag. slows the breathing down, gets the nicotine in. You know it's not good for you. Eating. Eating's a big one, isn't it? Comfort eating. You know it's not going to be good when you're eating all the processed crap and the garbage and stuff and the takeaways and all the stuff that you shouldn't be eating. But you're wiring in about the stuff that you shouldn't be eating because it's comfort. It's that momentary certainty. But because we're talking about this, you're going to be much, much closer to your own shortfalls now. You're challenging it as you're thinking about it. You're going, that's me. That's me. That's fucking me she's talking about. Yeah, it's you. It's you. I'm talking straight to you. There is only me and you in this room. Just me and you. So something could be attainable in the short term, but it's not sustainable because you can't go long term, because it's short term fixes. It's behavioural patterns that cause you to stay stuck, be unhappy, be fat, be miserable, be depressed, anxious, tired, bladdy, blah. That's right, isn't it? And you could change it all by getting close to this. That's the beauty of Feel Look Be. It's not just a wee, go and read this and then you've got to fucking fathom it out and go, right, okay, so I'm actually taking you through the steps that I went through to fix my own life. And I'm still fixing it. And I'll still be fixing it in 15, 20 years' time. But I'm always refining it and fine-tuning it. And you could as well. And I think you should be. I think every business person in the world needs to do Feel Look Be. Every business person, because the science is important, because if you don't have health and physical health and cellular health, it's no good having £1 million in the bank. And if you don't have your health, wealth is not important. And then when we've done the science bit, we're doing this mindset stuff. And they fit together like a glove. Everybody in the world should be doing Feel Look Be. I believe that from my heart. I'm only one wee, keeps referring to myself as a lassie, one wee lassie in Dundee. Very, very difficult for me to reach everybody in the world. So, by the end of the week, we're going to cover all 6 human needs, and you're going to identify what are your top 3. Top 2, your top 2 are what are going to show up. They're your driving forces. And in fact, if I see your top 2 human needs when you've ordered them from 1 to 6, I'm going to know what drives you. And when I know what drives you, I'm going to know what behaviours you've got. When I know what behaviours you've got, I'm going to know what your daily rituals are like. And when I see your daily rituals, I'm going to know what your values are. It's amazing, eh? When I know what your values are, I'm going to understand what your beliefs are. Because everything's stacking up and it's all showing up. And if it's a negative, destructive, disempowering loop that you've got going on, that's going to keep showing up. And nothing's going to change. Feel Look Be can't change that, by the way, until you do the work. Nothing could change that. You can find anybody in the world to try and help you. You could pay them any amount of money. This is the stuff that changes you. And it's not a spin class. No. It's not even a 30-minute workout that we've got in the mornings. No. They'll not change any of this. It's doing this work and writing it down and going through it in your mind and thinking, right, what was she talking about? What was she saying to me last night? Because it was resonating with me at the time. Now, here's what happens. I talk to you about this stuff and you feel it at the time. You're like, fuck, that's me. And then you go to sleep at night and then the humdrum of life takes over. Oh, I've got to get the breakfast ready. I've got to get that workout done. Got to get the meal prep on the go. Got to do this. Got to take them to the school. Got to... And so it gets lost in translation and you lose what you remembered from last night, and what resonated with you last night has gone by the morning. So you need to be writing this stuff down. Definitely. Okay. So things that could make you really certain are anger. Does anger make you certain? Damn right it does. You can get angry and be so fucking certain. That's negative, isn't it? Remember, it could be either be negative, or it could be positive, or it could be neutral. No point in getting angry. What's the point in getting angry? For things that you can actually put a positive spin on and move your life forward instead of staying the same or regressing. Change it. Eating. That could be positive or negative, couldn't it? But it provides certainty. I'm going to eat that meal. I'm going to get full. I'm going to feel satiated. That could be good or bad, or... In fact, let's just go good or bad with that one. You stick to the meal plan, it's going to be good and empowering. If you don't, and you eat all the shit of the day, it's going to be disempowering. And you're going to feel like shit. So let's not do that. What about the sugar high? How many people chase the sugar high or a high? How many people chase it, the dopamine hit? Boom. Loads of you. Short term, is it? That's a negative. You can get a blood sugar hit from other foods that are not all the shit of the day. So I'm probing you here, I'm questioning, or I'm bringing your attention to things that you maybe do still. What about your daily rituals? That could bring certainty to your life because you've got it all mapped out. This is what you do from, when you get up to by the time you go to work, you've got a list of things that you do. And remember, I always tell you to sweat the small things. I need you to do the small things really, really well. Like, you get up in the morning, you might read, you might get your lemon water and drink it through a straw, and you might oil pull and extract the impurities from your gums. Heal the cavities in your teeth. You'll then jump in the shower. You'll wash your bits. Hope so. You'll then get ready. You'll watch, or you'll be with me on the rug, moving together. Then you'll jump in the shower. Maybe you have 2 showers, I don't know. Then you'll get your meal prep. You'll get your containers on the go. You'll pack all your stuff. You'll get out the door. You'll be exhausted by that point. But that's your daily rituals, and you know if it's negative or it's positive. It's positive if I want you to do it. It's negative if you're eating all the crap and you're no showering and you've no washed your bits. That's definitely negative. And you've not taken part in the movement session, because ultimately that does set you up for the day. It's the behavioural ritual that will set you up for the day. It's not the fact that it's a 30-minute workout and what we're working on. That's secondary to how it makes you feel and what it sets you up for. It's psychological. It's not physical, that, although it is. That's not the reason for it. Smoking, drinking, all that stuff. Positive, neutral, or negative. Empowering or disempowering. You're going to question all your behaviours now, and you're going to think, right, is it serving me or is it not? And if it's not, I'm going to have to change that. I might not change it overnight, but I know it's not serving me. It's disempowering and it's keeping me stuck. And Shelley Booth's going to help me unpick it and unpack it and help me get myself out of it. Because I'm going to listen to her, and I get that this is just a big jigsaw now, and little bits of information are going to come in, and I am gradually going to work my way away from it to a better place. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So this is the feel, look, be pattern interruption model. Do you like it? The feel, look, be pattern interruption model. It's identifying where you're at now. It's taking on board everything that we've talked about this month, and it's bringing you closer to you. I'm getting pretty good at this, I have to say. And that's dead important, by the way, and I try and say it every month to you. See, when you're getting good at something, you have to tell yourself you're getting good. You really do. Jen, you were sitting working out with me this morning, and your wee laddie was sitting on the bed watching you. You're getting good at this. You're getting good for showing up for yourself. Good at showing up for yourself. Tracy Weir, you show up constantly. You've showed up every single morning that I could ever remember. You're showing up for you. Your daily rituals are you're about to do a CrossFit competition at the weekend. Amazing. You're going on about you're the oldest and you look fabulous. There's not many people you. Good for you. And there's hundreds of you doing things that I see all the time. You're showing up for you. You're empowering yourself. You're trying to interrupt, in one way, your behaviours that aren't serving you because you've booked onto Feel Look Be. But we need to go deeper. And we are. So that's all I've got to say to you tonight, everybody. I hope that made sense. I hope it did. Let me see your comments. Oh, Rachel, thank you. Rachel, I've noticed one thing. I've noticed you're very, very giving with your words. And in a world that's full of people that are not very giving, I really appreciate that. I sometimes come off alive and, I look at the comments and stuff and I always notice you say really, really nice things. So thank you so much. I don't think people realise that it is hard to put yourself out there and talk to hundreds of people on a live like this. I know I do it, as much as I do it, but when you hear it back and you see somebody going, do you know what? Yeah, thanks. I just want to say thank you. That means a lot to me. All of you, tell yourself when you're getting good at something. Pat yourself on the back. Don't go get a cake because you think that's, rewarding yourself. That's counterproductive. That's disempowering. See, in December, we're going to make cakes. We're going to make Shelley Booth style cakes. Clean cakes, but they're tasty as fuck. Beautiful. We're going to have a laugh with it. We're going to make our own. We're going to show each other our creations. Anybody ever made fat bombs before? Amazing. My recipe book, it's got desserts in them. Now, I don't go there with you lot because I need you to stay on plan so as I can show you what's achievable in a month. However, I would like to. Life is a bit of balance, right? And I want to bring in stuff like that.